सीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे स्थितो नरः धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धानामत्परमाः भक्तास्तेऽतीव मे प्रियाः. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति. See, when he's saying he is my bhakta, he is bhakta, bhakta. You have to translate that word bhakta to be that spiritual person. Okay, you can use the word jnani, you can use the word karmi, you can use the word yogi, you can use the word bhakta. Any one of these words can be used. Remember, all these words were not static. You can interchange those words. It's not necessary that you have to keep them as only this. See, so this is one problem we may feel. He is giving in this context of bhakti yoga, he is using the word bhakta. Right? So factually, if you go to the qualities of a jnani and the qualities of a divine person in the subsequent ones, where he is going to say such a person is a divine person, and you will find those qualities are repeating. Now we get into confusion. Now he's to be called, you call him a bhakta, you call him a jnani, or you call him a divine person. Daivim Sampat. So what is he then? Don't worry about the tag. It's exactly like we claiming nowadays. Don't call the lady as housewife. She should be called as homemaker. And now that is also changed. You know, home engineer. Now you can't even call them homemaker. So we keep changing these words, you see. But essentially, what the person is doing is not going to change. The nature of their work, nature of their, the quality of their life, that will not change. That doesn't change. Same way, here also, he will use the word yogi, sometimes he will use the word jnani, sometimes he will use the word bhakta, sometimes he will use the word divine person. So, don't get stuck with those words, please. Beware of it. Right. So, here what we have to understand is anyone who is working for their evolution. This is the mark of your evolution to grow as a human being. Because physiological growth, that's it. Beyond this, there is no more evolution, physical level. Physically, human beings are not going to evolve anymore. If at all anything going to happen at the physical level, it is going to be drop. It's not going to get any better physically. So physical evolution is over. After the physical evolution, now evolution doesn't stop. It stops at this level. It's like a doctor who passes out MBBS doesn't mean he will stop studying. He's supposed to continue to study. A lawyer passes out from the college doesn't mean he will stop studying. Continue to study. Yeah, suddenly one day, Home Minister will come in the thing and say, all things we are changing now. Now what to do now? Most of us don't even know what is this. You know that no, there is one law all of us will know. 420. தெரியுமா? தெரியாதா? So innocent she thinks. 420 will not be there anymore now. The law is out. That number is out. The law is not out. No more it will be coming under the section of 420. It will come in, 325 something. I don't know wherever it comes. 197, somewhere it will come in. But it is no more 420. You have to upgrade yourself. If you don't upgrade, see, but for all practical purpose, we say education is complete. Similarly, evolution at the physical level, over. Now evolution has to happen not as a species anymore, it will happen as an individual. Right? No more collective evolution. Henceforth, it is going to be individual evolution. No more collective. Number one. Number two, evolution will not happen natural. You have to put in effort consciously. Right? Physical evolution naturally happens. How that unicellular organism, at what point that unicellular organism decided to become multicellular? You all know that, no? First on Earth, we had only unicellular. That unicellular organism decided one day to become multicellular. Why? Was it a conscious decision by that? It's not a conscious choice. It happened. Same way, the Physical evolution happens naturally, right? Next stage now is no more physical evolution. That is why you will find nowadays not much of a physical diseases. See, most even the doctors say the most of the physical disease that we experience is psychosomatic in nature. It's not actually physical. Acidity, it's not physical actually. It is psychological. The person says, "Sir, I'm not having food properly. That is why it's nothing to do with you. Even if you eat food on time, you will still have acidity. Why? It's nothing to do with the body. Remember, it's to do with your mind. And now, if at all you have to grow, you have to work individually, consciously. How do you grow? Where will you go for that guidance? That's where the Shastras come into picture. That's where all the scriptures come into it. I'll help you. Follow this. The one who following that, how do you know you are growing? These are the yardsticks. These qualities will start emerging in you automatic. It's not that you consciously put an effort to be like that. No. If you are consciously putting effort to be like that, now you are imitating. See, I'm not going to be affected. You will not be affected. But you can't be working for not getting affected. If you consciously work not to get affected, then you will imitate. And when you imitate, it will look far better than the original. And that's how you get deceived. Essentially, they get totally lost. These actors, imitators are there. Have you met anyone? You would have seen those people only on stage. You see, what you don't know is their whole life they live like that. It's not that he comes on the stage, he performs like Rajinikanth and walks back, and he has his own independent walk. Over a period of time, that imitator forgets any other way of walking. You ask him to turn around, he will turn around like Rajinikanth only. He cannot turn around like you and me. But he started off as what? He starts to be like that. Someone would have told him, hey, you're like Rajinikanth, man. Or some casual remark by somebody. And that gave them some sort of a recognition. You see, which was not there for others. And you have to discuss with their family members. Those people. Many of them were not married, Those who are married, divorced. Their personal life is in a pathetic state. But they are very, very good entertainers. Kamala Hassan. I remember one fellow. He, exactly like him. Normally you are talking, he speaks like Kamala Hassan only. If I close my eyes and listen to it, I will think the interview is with Kamala Hassan. Podcast life, if they do, you will not know the difference. His voice modulation, his hairstyle, his makeup, his walk, his physique, everything. But you lose yourself in that process. The authenticity is lost. Your individuality will be lost. That's the danger of imitation. It pays you initially. It gives you that initial attraction. Everyone will get attracted towards you initially. But then, subsequently, what happens? They come closer to you. It starts, they start feeling the burden. There's nothing authentic about it. It's not yours. It's not original. See, so we say, be careful. So don't try to work on developing the qualities. Almost I am repeating this every class. Because the qualities are so enchanting, so beautiful. You'll be tempted to practice these qualities. Beware of that. These qualities are not to be practiced. This is the effect of your evolution. So these are all only diagnostic tools with which you can understand what is your current spiritual status. This only diagnosis. This is not medication. This is not treatment. So don't take, there is a difference between a prescription and a diagnostic report. Right? Don't go by the same place. So after you have started your medication process, they will say, we will take one more test now. So when they take the test, new test, we will know your current condition. Whether the disease has come under control, or these medicines are working, it's not working. This is how this micromedicines, experts of micromedicines, they do like that. They don't give, one prescription and say, that's it, go ahead. They'll say, we'll try this. Let's see how it works in your body. Based on how it works, we will see. So how do you know whether it is working or not? Now you have taken up a particular spiritual discipline. How do you know whether it is working? You will decide yourself, is it? Yeah, it's working very well, sir. What is the basis? I no longer get disturbed anymore. I get a good sleep. Why do you have to come for spiritual for that? I'll come to me after class. There are better ways to go to sleep. Agitation. What is the yardstick? Who decides? That is where these points come into picture. We ask this question, who decides your spiritual evolution? You are growing spiritually. Who will decide that? You will decide? It's exactly like the patient himself decides, the criminal himself decides whether he is a criminal or not. Will you allow that? Huh? Can the police decide then? And give punishment? No. Then lawyer, general public, who has to give punishment then? Who will give? Only a judge is to be given. Magistrate gives. There has to be a judge. Someone who has the capacity to consider dispassionately things. Only they will decide. You can't decide. Even though it has happened right in front of your eyes. That is called justice system, legal system. There will be enough opportunities given to explain. Even though we know right and front, it's caught red hand. But still, there is a procedure. Similarly, you cannot be given the freedom to take a call, whether you are evolving or not. Because invariably, your answer is going to be what? Always your answer is going to be, sir, I have evolved. My only problem is nobody is accepting that I have evolved. My wife is not accepting, sir. My husband is not accepting that I have evolved. So, what needs to be done? Now, please educate my wife. And if I speak to the wife, she says what? I don't know what you are teaching. This fellow is attending your class. I don't see anything happening. And I speak to the wife, she says what? Casually, I hear, is the time you're passive student, one fellow was telling me. I said, what is passive student? Passive student is telling me that I am your passive YouTube student. I said, what does it mean? Means his wife is attending, right? And she keeps the video on. And this guy keeps walking up and down. You know? He listens to it. So he says, I am your passive YouTube student. Nice, thank you. With the passive listening, I have grown so much. Active listening, then nothing happened to this lady. That is his problem. What he has tried to establish was that. Our problem is always that, you know. Sir, I know, I am not disturbed at all. You say, but everyone around you knows exactly what. Epitome of personification of disturbance is you. Such an agitated fellow you are. Everybody else in your family knows except you. And you believe what? You are growing. Now, who decides that? Remember, it is the scriptures they tell you. If you pass the test of the Shastras, you are evolving. If you are not passing, then don't try to correct the answer paper. Don't try to correct the mark sheet, please. Have you done that? Anybody? Mark sheet la adjust panni. You're not done. You have done. You are not done. You are all good students. $17. You convert that into what? 17, how do you convert to 71? 17 marks. All that you have to do is what? 77 you can make. Easy. You're not done those. That shows you don't know how to do it. See. 0, now what you can do? Much easier. Anything you put next to that is easy. That also you should know which side to put. You see? Because 0 fellow will not know where to put, their numbers. That's what one fellow said. Husband and wife is like, 1 and 0. The wife is 0. Yeah, correct. But if she places herself in the other side, you are gone completely. If she is placing herself the other side, the value grows by 10 times. Remember, don't think it is nothing. It's a very interesting idea. So remember, who decides? It's the Shastras that decide. The Shastras give the yardstick. Using that, you have to grow. Methodology is different, testing is different. So this is only a quality check. Right? Verse number 16.
अनपेक्षशुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः अनपेक्षशुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः.
Free from wants, pure, dexterous, unconcerned, untroubled, renouncer of all undertakings. He, my devotee, is dear to me. Another 6 qualities he gives in this verse. Anapeksha. Apeksha, opposite of that is anapeksha. Apeksha literally means dependency. Right. What causes the dependency? Wanting something. When I want something from the world, then I become dependent on the world. When I don't want anything from the world, I am not dependent on the world. So, anapeksha means free from wants. That's how the idea comes. Not being dependent. Now we ask the question, you are not dependent for what? Now, if I have to read, I am dependent on the spectacles. Correct? If I have to speak to all of you, my voice will not reach you. So I am dependent on the mic. I am dependent on the speaker to amplify my voice and reach to you. Correct? And now how can you say a bhakta is one who is not dependent? So people argue. That's why we say basic learnings you must have on logic, studying methodology, reasoning methodology. When we say are not dependent, he does not want. Want what? Is not dependent on. Is not dependent. For what he is not dependent. When I am hungry, I am dependent on the world to quench that hunger, no? Quench the thirst, isn't it? How can you say you are not dependent? Yeah, life itself is interdependent. There is nothing called, independence. Independence at the level of the body is an impossibility, remember. It's not that these masters don't know that. Life is interdependent. How can you be independent? There is no such thing called independence. It's all interdependence only. Correct. That's why you should ask this One question, if you ask, you will get the answer. You are not dependent on the world for what? For what you are not dependent? I am not dependent on the world to give me happiness. I don't want happiness from the world. Why? I have a better source of happiness. Therefore, I don't want from the world. A bhakta is one who derives happiness, joy, contentment, fulfillment, satisfaction, etc. from somewhere else. Therefore, he doesn't want this from here. He has a better source, not only somewhere else, he has a better source than this. Therefore, he is anapeksha. Therefore, he is not dependent. We are dependent on the world. For what? For everything we are dependent. You want the world to acknowledge it. You can't just go and buy one shirt and put it on and come. You take one more fellow. If nobody is there, you ask the salesman, how does it look? Don't you have eyes? Can't you? They have a mirror, no? There's a change room. Inside the change room, there is a mirror. Can't you stand there and see whether it is? How do you look? Switch on the light and see. When you stand in front of the mirror, you know what is it. If you like it, put it on. Always you will find a fellow will go to buy a shirt with one more person, as though he is a fashion designer. And it is so interesting to see. A fellow will come, as though they know about, see, if you don't know, you take somebody. I don't know whether, check the shirt will fit for me or a striped one or the, plain one. I'm going to buy one blazer. I don't know. How do you decide? Blazer. How do you decide the cut? Whether it is to be here, it is to be there, those things I don't know. Then you should take someone who has the knowledge of it. You take your friend. He also doesn't know. You also don't know. So when you put on a shirt, he will comment on you. And he puts on a shirt, you comment on him as though you are an expert. If you are a real expert, then correct. There's a meaning in that. You have no clue of dressing sense. Whether the shoe should go around with the tie or the shirt. What should go along with that? Shoe should match what? Your socks should match what? Fashion design class is that, okay? This is whether to wear the belt or not. People don't know. Then you take someone who has the knowledge, there's a meaning, correct? I agree. Simply you go there and ask, what is it, sir? Validation. You are so dependent on validation of somebody. And it's so interesting to see. That's exactly the problem of Arjuna. Because he wants the success to be validated by people who, when he wins over this battle, he'll become successful. And Arjuna has no doubt about that. Remember, no second thought. Because Arjuna is the only warrior in the entire Mahabharata war who never lost. You know that? The entire war. Many times this, warriors, they about to lose it, they'll move away. Arjuna is the only warrior. Bhima also moved away many times because he couldn't manage. Either he moves or his charioteer takes the chariot away. Arjuna is the only warrior who never lost, who never have to move away from the battle because he is going to lose the battle. See, nothing of that. So he has no doubt. The problem of Arjuna is what? After the victory, he will want those two fellows to say, "Well done, man. 88 days. What a fight. Super." He wants the appreciation from who? He wants the appreciation from Bhishma and Drona. Those two will not be there. If they are not going to be there to validate my success, I rather not have that success. See, Arjuna's position of not wanting to fight the war, even though he may say, talk like Buddha, remember, he is not a Buddha. If Arjuna were to be really a Buddha, Mahavira, Krishna wouldn't have started the lecture only. You would have said, correct. Krishna would have agreed with Arjuna. Krishna did not agree with Arjuna, not because Krishna wanted the fight, please. Arjuna wanted the fight, but for wrong reasons he is saying, I'm not going to fight. Why? Because who should validate my success are not going to be there. Instead of saying that, he goes on to take a position of a great man of virtue and value, as though he is a personification of ahimsa. What ahimsa is that? One whack, that fellow. That is this anapeksha. You are dependent for what? You are dependent for the validation from people. You are not dependent. A spiritual being, a person, is one who will have the capacity to live with the bare necessities. He can live a life of a luxury. That's what he's saying, anapeksha. He doesn't want anything. Means he has no luxurious things. He has only necessities. That's all. These are all basic necessities. Now, basic necessities, immediately you don't take a position. Basic necessity means what, sir? What is a basic necessity? All of you know, no? Necessities. What is a basic necessity for life? Food, shelter, clothing. Correct? Food, shelter, clothing. Do you eat idli or you eat food? Do you go to a restaurant and say, I want food? Or you ask for masala dosa. And by mistake, he brings a set dosa. What do? Anyway, I want food only. Same thing, isn't it? Masala dosa, set dosa. No difference. Our fellow doctor says, you should not eat rice in the night. So what to have, sir? Idli you can have. The fellow is asking the doctor, you only said rice I will not have, no? My grandmother used to, the night we will not take rice. She used to say. And then have idli. I said, same thing, no? That is also rice. This is also rice. What difference? She used to get very angry with me. It's a asama poha. I don't know how to translate that. உருப்படவே மாட்டேன். They can't digest it, because no answer. Same thing, no. Food. Do you eat food? No. You eat specific. You see, the South Indian will have rice. North Indian will have roti. Chapati is standard. Sabzi only will vary. That's all it is. Now, without chapati, he can't survive. So, for him, what is a necessity? Food. Shelter. Any shelter will do. Thatched roof. Will it do? No. Single bedroom will do. Now, when you say shelter, that's also shelter, no? Correct? But then, do you live that life like that? No, but this is a fascinating idea. We'll elaborate it some other time, okay? But just get the idea. That's enough. As of now. How do you decide that? I'm leaving it to you to think. How will you decide? On what basis? Dhoti kurta, stand, is a basic requirement. I say, why full dhoti? A towel will do, no? Why towel? Cowping will do, no? Correct? What is a necessity? Who decides that? The one who has considered all these ideas and fixes certain things as necessity, and he lives with that necessities in a luxurious manner. That is called anapeksha. Does not want. Free from wants. Wanting what? He is free from the wants for comfort and luxury. He is not asking things because it is comfortable for him. It is luxurious for him. No, it is a necessity for him. So he is free from wants of the nature of comfort. All our wants, what is the way? It's comfortable for me. Curd rice is comfortable for me. Therefore, I will go for curd rice. Right? To another person, pizza is comfortable. So wherever he goes, he will ask for pizza. That is comfortable for him. All our wants were driven by comforts. If you can afford luxury, your luxury is nothing but your affordability, full stop. If you can afford, what you will do? To how many things in your life which you can afford and you have said no for that? If you have said no for that, that is only because of what? Sir, I can afford to buy this car. Maintenance is a problem. Isn't it? I can afford a big car. The parking is a problem. Therefore, you are not buying a car. Show me one area in your life. If you have experienced it in one area, by now you would have understood the idea of anapeksha. One area is enough. Once, if you have done, you will find that there is some problem associated with that. Many of our people, don't show they have money. You know why? Brother-in-law is there, no? If that fellow gets to know that I have money, finished. The son-in-law is there, no? The neighbor is there. My cousin is there, This fellow is there. The people around, they will immediately come and start asking for loan, borrow. Now you cannot say no because they all know that you have money. Therefore, what do? Live the life of simplicity. Simply we live, sir. That's all it is. Your simplicity is driven by what? By your miserliness. Your simplicity is not driven by. Now you can't claim yourself to be anapeksha. See, amazing quality. How do you define that? One. Shuchi. Yes.
So this anapeksha, can we also say it's like free from desires?
Yes, you can say it, desires. See, desires will look, very futuristic. Number one, desires always will appear as though that you are ambitious. But when you say I wanted, it looks very innocuous, fully justified by changing the word. That's why he consciously used the word free from wants. What is the meaning of free from wants? What is a proof that you are free from want? Become independent. Independent of what? Independence from what? So ask these questions, you will get the answer. Right. Shuchihi. Pure. Purity in all aspects. Many take it as cleanliness. Cleanliness is not what is referred here, remember. Externally being clean. External cleanliness is not what is referred here. Of course, it includes external cleanliness also, right? But it's not externally being clean. If you take externally being clean, by now, entire Switzerland should be full of bhaktas only. Entire Singapore population is bhaktas. They are all spiritual people. Why? Because Shuchi, they are very clean. It has got nothing to do with your idea of cleanliness, please. It's to do with purity. Purity in all aspects of your personality. External and internal. So our concept of a devotee, see, your concept of a spiritual man is what? First qualification for spiritual person.
Yes.
Yeah. Alcohol. Isn't it? Costume. Mattered locks. This means what? He's not combing hair. He is not oil properly. No haircut. Nothing on. No grooming. And he is not taking bath. He is a more spiritual person. Dirty. Now, don't take immediately. Oh, now I'm going to be what, sir? Where I go, I keep everything clean. So, since you are keeping everything clean, doesn't mean you become a bhakta immediately. But bhakta includes cleanliness. But more than cleanliness, it is purity. So, what does it mean? It means awareness of impurity followed by effort to purify. So, what is Shuchihi means? Shuchihi means awareness first, you are conscious of impurity. What is it that you consider to be impure is the question. See, are you conscious of your impurity? As you age, you lose your awareness of impurity. You see, that's why the first quality he gave is what? Advesha. No hatred. He did not say love. No hatred. Now you ask an old man, do you hate anyone? What is the answer he gives? Huh? Have you ever asked? Have you ever asked yourself, do I hate anyone? So of course, I don't like that. But then I don't hate that person because of that. You immediately come and cover it up, isn't it? You cover up that hatred that you have. You cover up that negative quality that you have. See, that's why it's very important to be conscious of the dirt. Many times people are not even conscious of it. It's sometimes surprising. How can you not see it? It's right in front of your eyes. How can you not see? It's so dirty. Can't you see that? You can't see it. That awareness, that alertness to dirt, alertness to impurity, not easy. Very tough. It's not just to be alert of your impurities. Remember, that alertness should be followed up by the constancy of your effort to correct it. That is what he is calling as Shuchihi. How do you get that? Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram, he says in the 4th chapter. Beautiful statement of his. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram vihavidyate. There's nothing like this knowledge that purifies. It's the knowledge that purifies you, remember. Knowledge that purifies doesn't mean now I know entire Bhagavad Gita. Now I am pure person. It's not that, please. Then what is that knowledge? Knowledge means that alertness. Cleanliness not your obsession. Doesn't mean immediately. How do you know that? It's very simple. How do you know the difference between the person who is obsessed with cleanliness and a person who is clean? How do you know?
Somebody who excess won't tolerate even somebody doing something little off. They get irritated with others. Anger.
Correct. You don't see. A bhakta is one who will be clean. But he is not going to be expecting everybody to be clean. You see, if you are not clean, that is not my problem. Many times you see that I get annoyed that you got angry. Have you seen many times what triggers your anger? What angers you is the other person gets angry. When the other person gets angry, that triggers anger in you. Sir, on my own, I don't get angry. Sir. How can you get angry for that? No logic. The reasoning is this. Now, why should, if anger is negative, I have to ensure that I don't get anger. If jealousy is negative, I don't get jealous. You get jealous, because of that, I get angry with you. What is the difference between you and me then? Liver failure, kidney failure. Both are patient only, no? What difference does it make? One fellow says liver gone, another fellow says kidney gone. Both are not healthy, remember. See, so when we say Shuchihi, you don't expect others to be clean to my standard of cleanliness. Remember, I'm talking about attitude. Okay? Don't go to your house and say that to your maid. Say, she's not cleaning. Sir only said, my standard of cleaning is different, her standard of cleaning is different. Let her be. This is not what I'm referring here, okay? Because this cleanliness is our very interesting quality again. Can easily misunderstand. Shuchihi is taken to be clean. No, it is purification. Purification means what? How do you get that purification, sir? That is where we have a technique called Pratipaksha Bhavana. Now, the most powerful method employed in the Shastras is Pratipaksha Bhavana. Look at it from a different angle. The capacity to view that from a different angle. You understand it holistic. Through that employment, you can slowly start removing this dirt. You get pure. Daksha, another beautiful quality. Dexterous. Daksha means a person who is alert, smart. A spiritual person is a smart fellow. He's prompt. He's dynamic. He's not lazy. We think, spiritual means, you're fit for nothing, you take to spirituality. This is our belief. When I wanted to join the academy, I went to take blessings from, my friend's grandmother and grandfather. They're very elderly people. They allowed me a lot. So I went to their house, to take pranams. And become a pass pantiye. The first thing was, your past become no. Then why are you going to study Vedanta? So, her idea of going to Vedanta is what? You are fit for nothing here. You're unfit here, na, then you go there. You are fit here means what? My grandfather asked me another question. Yarra, she asked. Who's that girl? Well, his idea of love failure, na, you take to either commit suicide or you take sannyas. His idea was that. No, illa tata, I said. Then why? Sannyas itself, we think, a person should not have the, dynamism. But you look at Shankara, what a dynamic personality. Hmm? What dynamism. To walk across the length and breadth of the country. Amazing work. Where they got that? That's a Daksha. Samartha is a smart fellow. He knows how to get things done unselfishly. That's very important class. Okay. Otherwise, we are also very smart in getting things done. There, areas where you have a stake involved, there you become smart. That's why nowadays, they say it's better to have a little loan. Why? At least that will put you the pressure, to run big business. If no loans, no pressure. It's a smart way of catching you, putting you in bondage. Yes. It's an expert. Not Daksha. Hmm.
So is it it's an external manifestation when we say expert or energy or so or smart?
Yes,
Is it?
it's action.
It's
See, you will find in this 35 qualities, some of them will be referring to the attitude, bhavana, right? Some of them will be with reference to the manifestation, action. Daksha is with reference to action. Anapeksha, anapeksha is not an action. Anapeksha is an attitude. Dynamism is you are so productive. What production you have done? Your productivity is confined to what? That's what we ask. Your ideal in life is what? That's why after a point of time, you lose the inspiration to work. After a point, there's no interest in work. Why? Not retirement. Retirement Allah came after British. Before British, there's no retirement in this country. There's no concept of retirement here. Why we never had this idea of retirement here? Work will go on and on. You become incapacitated to work. That's a different thing. Bodily, you cannot. Body cannot take action anymore. Oh, you're capable, but you don't have the drive. Why? So, what was giving you the drive earlier? Something there. Something was giving you that kick internally. Once that is gone, you drop the action. No matter what actions. That is why, for a higher purpose to be dynamic is far more complex. Very rare. It's impossible. For a lower cause, it's very easy to be dynamic. Not a big deal. For a higher purpose, for a cause beyond that selfish and self-centered interest, to be active, to be smart, to be prompt, to be alert, to be dynamic. Dynamic means you give your life, like he gives the example, Ram Tirtha gives the example. You should sting like a bee, he says. Daksha, sting like a bee. What is it? That one sting the bee gives its life. That should be the intensity. Your intensity should be like that. Such a dynamic one. Your dynamism, your action is driven by what? Where you are very smart. You use all your intelligence. You think a lot, right? You plan, you scheme, you execute. All this is happening. All this is put together, okay? When you do all that, in which area you have done all that? Area of your desires, area of your attachment. Beyond that area of desire and attachment, self-centered interest, there's nothing. That is why after a point, nothing inspires you. That's why we call as midlife crisis. What is this midlife crisis? See, previous generation, if you go and tell them midlife crisis, they'll say, what midlife crisis? Don't think they are all very unselfish and all that. Survival itself was a problem for them. Hand to mouth. Therefore, no time for them to even realize what's happening. Now, the hand to mouth condition is not there. You see, for whatever reason, right or wrong is not my issue. The point is, the moment you have reached a point where your survival is not at stake, what happens to your dynamism? You can go back and study all the big companies. At what point the company falls? The starting point of the collapse. Fall of any corporation in the world. You will find a pattern. What is the pattern? The thought process of the top management moved from surviving in the industry to growth of the company. Go back and study. We have to survive, sir. When you are working for survival, the intensity that you bring to the table, vis-a-vis, you want to grow, expand. It's lost. You are no longer thinking in terms of survival, because survival is taken care of now. So we think, okay, now what is to be done? Now we need to expand, we need to grow. And you will see downfall happening from that point. It's a law. So how do you ensure that they are putting in that dynamic effort, sir? Always we have to keep them on their toe. The only method we know in the world is to do what now? Survival at stake. When your survival is at stake, you will slog, you will work. When your survival is not at stake, the intensity of the slogging that you have done earlier will reduce. And the law of life is inaction is death. Action is the insignia of life. Inaction is death. When you are losing that intensity, what happens? Downfall starts. It's a question of size. That's all. If the size is too big, it will take time for the world to recognize the fall, isn't it? Recently, there was a crash, no? This Hindenburg case. Came Adani, things dropped. Boom. Does it mean he didn't have anything to eat the next day? But there are people whom I know who held, stocks of Adani crashed, got into debts because of that. Matter of few months. It's amazing to see. Why? Nothing happened to him. His house is this all that is fine? No. I'd been to a cricket match in UK. I mean that box. What's his name? Kingfisher. Vijay Mallya was there. Shameless fellows, huh, these guys. They started cheering when he came. He got so upset, poor thing. He had to leave, He left immediately. Now, even now, in which box he is sitting? He is not standing in the queue to get, 100 rupees ticket. He is still sitting there only, Why? That's a size. The fall can be there. But the tragedy is we have no other knowledge of how to keep the dynamism going without survival at stake. That's where Daksha comes. Daksha means he is not dependent. That's why earlier he has already said he is not dependent. He is not depending on the world for anything. He is happy. He is comfortable. He is living a luxurious life. With what? With the necessities. With the necessities, giving a luxurious life. But still, he is striving. He is so dynamic. What is driving that? Not the survival instinct. It is the inspiration from the higher ideal. That's what is important here is. Daksha means Samartha, the one who is smart. He is smart in getting things done. In which area? Areas of unselfishness. In unselfishness, he is dynamic. Daksha. Samartha. Don't think he is a dumb fellow. Because we think spiritual people are all dumb. They don't know anything. They're very smart. We'll continue.